What's up, everybody, and welcome to another Twisted Bird gaming video. My name is Paddy, and I am here with the lovely Rob. Say hello.
Hello.
And
Hello.
the delicious Alistair.
Blue.
Excellent. So as you can see, we're playing Rainbow Six Siege, and we are taking this as an opportunity to talk about games as a service in the wake of Fallout 76, the rather disastrous Fallout 76, and quite a lot of the game of the service trends that everybody seems to be jumping on. We thought it would be a good time to talk about Rainbow Six Siege, because it's a game that we have played a lot of.
Too much, some would say.
Yeah, over the past year or so.
Shoot these fucking drones.
We've played so much of this game, and we wanted to ask the question: is this a game as a is this a game as a service that's done really well? Does it stand out? Is it something that we think is doing it well? Because I think, I'm just going to lay my cards right out there on the table. I don't like games as a service. Oh, Robbie dead.
What? How?
No.
I don't know how I died.
Robbie.
I ran and someone shot me through a panel. I don't know how they knew I was there, but I think they were shot and I died. Anyway.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not a massive fan of it, but obviously it is something that is making people a huge amount of money, and game publishers like to follow the money. So, Al, let's start with you, corporate shill that you are. How do you feel? You do love them corporates. How do you feel Rainbow Six Siege? Like, what do you think it does really well as a games as a service? And actually, probably start like, is this, is it a games as a service? Can we just, because it probably wasn't when it came out, but is that definitely what it is now?
Yeah, I mean, what Siege has done well, I think, in my opinion, is they've made it as a games as a service. It continues, but it doesn't change. So all they do is just add a few new operators, a new map, and then carry on in the same vein. So it's essentially the same game over and over again, just with a few new updates, and they keep it feeling as if it is a bit fresh instead of getting a bit stale going, I'm tired of the same operators, same maps. So that's what I feel that Siege has kind of added to the games as a service, instead of just going take all of your money.
I mean, it's one of those things where, like, no matter what way you break it down, and I think we talked about this when we were like trying to think of like what we want to do in this video, and we want to be very clear that we in no way want this to be like games as a service is an absolutely all right thing, and we think we should try and like say let's applaud this game for being a games as a service. I think it's more the fact of being realistic that games as a service is a thing, and it's going to be a thing for the foreseeable future. So if it is going to be a thing, is there better ways that it can be done? And I think there's a few things that Siege does that I think definitely are on the better side of practices. Like for example, I know there's kind of like the loot box thing, but I think you've also got the ability to buy anything that you want. So if you wanted something, you don't have to just randomly wait until you get it in some sort of pack. You can go and just buy that individual item. So say if I wanted a certain helmet or a certain skin, I could just buy that skin, as opposed to think, oh, I'm just going to wait for like a random chance. And
yeah, everything that's randomized,
everything that's
randomized, you can purchase, and you can pick it up for yourself. But I mean, I think for me the biggest place it falls down, I think the place where it's probably the greediest. I mean, we did a list a little while ago that you can find at youtube.com/twisted-by-gaming. Greediest games that are greedy bastards, and we had Siege on there because it takes an absolute eternity.
It is a grind
to unlock
hours.
Character. That's mad. That is ridiculous. And if you're like me, right, who's got about 56,000 renown saved up, I get decision paralysis, and I've got all these operators. I don't know which one to get. So I just have this money sitting there because there's too much. I mean, from that perspective, there's too much choice because they have released so many operators. They've released so many operators since I started accruing renown. So now they're like 3 seasons worth or whatever. I can't decide what to spend it on. So
yeah,
it takes forever.
Do you think having all of the operators puts you at a distinct advantage?
I think until they get nerfed. I remember playing when not this update that's just happened, the one before it. The new operator crash with the shield was basically unkillable. Like, it was ridiculous. And I think they changed that because I've barely seen anyone use her anymore. To begin with, I think jumping on the new operators probably does, because until they're really out there in the community, I don't think it's as balanced as it is.
Surely that adds another.
I think it's just a fun factor, isn't it? Like, do you want to unlock everybody, and have variety. And it does do variety well. And to be fair, it doesn't just do variety well. It lets you have it for nothing. You know, like, I mean,
I think the balancing in general is quite good in the terms of I can't ever feel like that. You know, when you're playing a game and if you see that you're in a team of 5 where there's the all year 1 operators, and then you see the other teams all got year 3 and 4. You never sit there and think, oh God, here we go. You know what I mean? I never feel like that. I feel like the balancing is actually, as much as it's annoying that I've got this whole set of operators that I'm realistically not going to be able to grind and pay for all of them. I feel like the ones I have, I just seem to main the same 2 or 3 of them. You know what I mean? So I don't necessarily see myself using the broad range. So I don't feel that compelled to be like, oh, I need to get all of the operators.
I'm very much in the same boat.
Yeah, I think with the right, if they just released the operators and didn't have kind of the game of service nature of updating constantly, then it would make it a lot worse, because then the overpowered operators still remain overpowered, whereas they at least come back, they realise, okay, that this is what's going on with this, they listen to their community, and then they come back, and then they fix it. So they're actually making games as a service instead of other games that make it as a way to make more money, essentially, which is, I think, is how
I'd say it is a... I mean, you know, Siege, if you look at the history of the game, it came out as it wasn't full...
I died.
It wasn't full price, was it? It wasn't like a £50 game, was it?
I think it was.
Oh, was it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, it
came out as a full AAA price game.
It came out and it was fine, but it
was quite hated at launch.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't do very much.
Well at launch at all.
And then they dropped the price massively. And something they have done, to be fair to them, is just they keep regularly having free weekends. So you know, Siege is free quite a lot. They can play for a few days. So that's a really smart way of getting people to try it before they buy it and see if that's something they want to get into. And you know, they have mad concurrent player rates like years after the game came out at this point, and they are giving us
it's gross.
Yeah, they're giving us a great game, but you know, I don't think making it so difficult to get operators and stuff is necessarily a good thing. It feels like it's something that everyone else is doing, so they can sort of get away with it. I mean, I don't know if either of you ever spent any money in to get anything in Siege?
Oh, you know what? I never have.
Not in Siege.
I never have. I've always for saying that though, I'm very stubborn. It's as a matter of principle, I can't think of a single game outside of buying DLC for The Witcher 3 or DLC for a single player story, if I'm really into it, that I'd pay extra money for. I think the last time I did it was on a FIFA 10 or like 11. I just nah, man.
Yeah, they got me for Siege. Like so basically because we were playing loads and I came in a bit later than you guys. In terms of like I didn't have any, I had no operators,
I remember that
basically.
now. Yeah.
So
we kind of brought you into it, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. So I bought like the year 1 ones, I think, because I didn't have or whatever year. You know, all the year 1 ones are free, so I bought the year 2 operators, just like the whole pack, right. just the whole pack together, and I was you know it's good because I have a bit more choice. But I'm the same. Like I play Rook and then probably Fuse or maybe someone else on attack, and you know I don't give a shit like who the people in the meta are using all the time. Like I sort of know how to use the characters. Like I feel sort of useful with Rook, so I use Rook. Like I don't know, it's probably not something I think I'd do it. It's not something I'd do again. I don't think. Like put that money in. I think
it's like I think you can't really talk about games as a service without mentioning GTA 5, which is the sort of, I think is kind of how people have put how games as a service should be. But even that game, the more it's gone on, the more I felt like I have to start spending my own money to get more in-game money to then buy the new weapons and keep up essentially with everyone in the game. And like if I want to have fun and like drive around in a tank and a jet
I found the grind of GTA getting bigger and bigger as the game got bigger and bigger, like as time went on, and that was just probably a take two trying to squeeze every single penny out of the the player base out was huge for years and years and years, and probably is still and will be for years to come.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing that, again, I will say about Rainbow Six Siege, which I think a lot of people, and again, I think you can talk about Overwatch and a few other games that fall into this sort of thing, which, you know what, as much it fits really well for a player just like me, and I think there's like quite a lot of players just like me who kind of like these sorts of games, but just likes to pick them up and put them down every now and again, and not going to lose their life into them, and not going to put the hours and hours and hours into them. And I think the thing is great about players like that, who the ones who are like not so inclined to buy all the loot packs and all the operators and just sort of play it and put it in every now and again, is I don't have to buy a new game every year. You know what I mean? It's a game I can just keep coming back to and play, and I'm quite happy with that. At least it's for me, it's definitely, I'm spending less on this than if I was trying to keep up with the Call of Duty series, for example. Even if I wasn't buying any packs, any microtransactions, but if I was playing this is my a go-to game, first-person shooter. When I want to shoot some people who are real, I go onto this because I don't want to keep buying GTA. I mean, I don't want to keep buying Call of Duty or a Battlefield each year. That actually, I paid my £55 for this, and that's all I've paid for it. I've had that for years, and I feel like I've got real good value out of that. And for someone like me, that is a really good a deal.
They keep giving you value.
It's worth the money you spend on it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that we originally thought of framing this video as, is Rainbow Six Siege evil?
Evil.
Would you say it's evil, or would you say that it is a game of a service done well, or one of the better ones?
I think it is a game as a service done well. It does have its flaws. It's not perfect, but I think out of all of them out there, it's one of the best, if not the best game that is just done as if you can constantly play it. It keeps having updates, and they don't force you to buy anything, and you're not at a disadvantage in any way from not spending your own money. And I think that's what it should be.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for that little look down in examining Rainbow Six Siege.
I do have an extra point.
No, I don't care. We've been going on forever.
Oh.
No, go on. A little, because it's almost Christmas.
Yeah, well, you asked him to summarise. I didn't get a chance to summarize.
Yeah, because you just gave your final point.
Yeah, no, it was just really like around the games as a service thing that although I mentioned that the fact that it's perfect for a game like me, so it is a really good version of the games as a service model, but it's still inherently evil by the fact it is a games as a service, and be honest with you, the way it makes its money and keeps being sustained is not through people like me who bought it 3 or 4 years ago and haven't put a penny into it since, or either you two. It's the people who can't help themselves and put thousands and thousands into it every single month or every single year, and they can't afford it. So that is, for me, why it's still inherently evil. You know what I mean? No matter how much we slice it, no matter how much we make it softer, or how much we praise it for being the good boy of the games as a service model, it's still evil. There you
go. What he said. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I can't disagree in terms of, I'm not a very big fan of the idea of games as a service. I mean, Fortnite's probably biggest and best, and that's like targeted at kids. So, not great, but they are giving you good content, like you said. It's good for the way you like to play games and consume games, and I keep finding myself dropping back in every now and again, and as somebody who's avoided spending money, except when I really thought, I'll do that, and it did. I wasn't unhappy with it. I don't think I'd do it again. But yeah, I totally get your point with the wider discussion about games as a service and loot boxes and gambling and all that shit. But we'll save that for Jim Sterling and people who know what they're doing. And yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and watched us being absolutely fucking terrible at Siege. And
did anyone actually kill anybody?
No,
I got
nothing.
two.
No one did. Everyone died.
Rubbish.
No one did. We're all terrible, except Al. Al's the best of us. Thank you very much for watching this video, and we will see you very again soon. Yep.
Very again soon.
I'm sticking with it at youtube.com/twisted bar gaming. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye bye.